What's up, guys? Welcome back. It's Smoothie, and today I want to talk about this game right here, Diablo Immortal. I wanted to go through some of the news that has come out lately that I didn't get to talk about in my first video on the game. So let's just hop right into it. We got a bunch to cover, so let's get started. First off, they said that there's going to be, at the minimum, 12 skills per class, and you'll be able to bind 5 of them to the skill buttons. They said that some classes have up to 16 skills right now, and they're working on just adding more skills, period. At launch, there's going to be 9 zones, and I'm not sure if that's like all outdoor zones or if West March is included in that or what. But the outdoor zones are going to be like an MMO. That's going to be more the social side to it. When you're out in these big zones, there's going to be people around just like any other normal MMO. And they said that like world bosses are a possibility. I think there was one in the trailer or something like that. World bosses or big quest things like that are definitely a possibility because they want to make this first off a Diablo game, but then secondly it's an MMO like World of Warcraft is, and they said that they are taking a lot of inspiration from World of Warcraft in like the dungeons and the social aspects and things like that. The dungeons are instants, so like when you go from an outdoor zone into a dungeon, you're basically in your own version of it. There's not going to be any other people there unless you invite them in as your party. And I think there is like a matchmaking kind of thing because in the demo at BlizzCon, you could go in, you could select solo or group, and when you selected group, you were automatically matched with 3 other people that were there playing the demo. I don't know if that's going to be like a global matchmaking or region-based matchmaking in the final game, but I'm pretty sure there is going to be some form of matchmaking if you don't have friends available at the moment to join your dungeon. And one thing they said that in one of the videos I watched of someone playing a demo at BlizzCon is the dungeons are similar to World of Warcraft dungeons, that they're geared for 4 players. So they're made they're made specifically for 4 players to go in and tackle. They said that you could go in with you and one other friend, and if you're geared enough, you can probably complete it, but it will be much easier with 4 players. So I'm taking that as it won't have that adaptive difficulty setting that Diablo 3 has. So the dungeons will be a lot more like an MMO dungeon or World of Warcraft dungeons, as in you need a full party to do it, which again goes back to the matchmaking. I'm pretty sure there will be a matchmaking because not everybody's going to be able to have 3 friends ready to go to do a dungeon all the time. One thing they mentioned is West March is the social hub for the game. At least the one that they've mentioned. There may be more down the line, but they said you can compare it to like the capital cities in WoW. You have like Stormwind and Ironforge, Orgrimmar, uh, Thunder Bluff, things like that, where all the vendors, your crafting trainer. Well, they didn't say specifically how crafting will be in this game, but you can assume that in these hubs there'll be the crafting trainers. They said your bank will be there where you store items, and you'll be able to interact with other people there. So if you've ever played WoW, you can look at their capital cities and see what Westmarch is going to be like. Uh, One thing they said, and a lot of people have been talking about NetEase and how they come into play with all this, and uh, if you follow a guy that does Marvel Future Fight videos on YouTube, Cinecalix, he made a great video explaining how NetEase is in business with Blizzard, and NetEase does a lot of the Chinese versions of Blizzard games. If you're familiar with the Chinese version of Diablo, it's a lot different, or Diablo 3 rather. It's a lot different than the other version in the rest of the world. That's because, and I'm not going to get into it because I don't completely understand it, the way the Chinese government works with their economy. A lot of games have to be released through Chinese publishers there. So NetEase has released WoW in China, Diablo 3, Hearthstone, Heroes of the Storm, Overwatch. All those, all the big Blizzard games are released in China through NetEase. So they've been in works with Blizzard for 10 years at least, from what Blizzard has stated. So I think that their business relationship, is a lot more complex than a lot of people are thinking, because a lot of people are thinking, oh, NetEase, they make all these rip-off games and stuff, and I'm not going to get into all that. There are a lot of games that they release that are appear to be reskins of other genres and games, but if you play mobile games, there's a lot of that. But I think that with Blizzard involved in this, we can kind of take a step back and breathe for a minute and realize that Blizzard's not going to let NetEase completely destroy their franchise. And getting off of the whole NetEase subject and everything, they did state that they're still working on a lot of the systems for the game, like the loot systems, skill trees, or things like that. There will be legendary items, and they said the legendary items will change your appearance. I don't know if it's legendary items specifically, or what they're saying exactly there, but legendaries will be in the game. Hardcore mode is another thing they talked about, and they said it's still up in the air because of the mobile platform. People can, when you're commuting and stuff, a lot of times you will lose internet connection. Going in subways, things like that, you can lose your internet connection. So people playing hardcore, you don't want them to lose their connection and then their character die and then they lose all their progress. So they're still debating on whether hardcore is going to be in the game or not because of those limitations. And there'll be 6 classes at launch: the Necromancer, the Monk, the Barbarian, the Wizard, the Crusader, and the Demon Hunter. But they will add more later. And also, guilds are probably going to be in the game. They hadn't stated for sure, but they said they are probably going to be in the game too, kind of build on the social aspects of an MMO, and because BattleNet will be in the game. So your friends that you have on BattleNet, and all that, you'll be able to talk to them in the game like you would any other Blizzard game. And then a lot about the timeline of where this game takes place. There's a 20-year gap between Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. And we know that this game takes place in that gap, but there's a 5-year gap between Diablo 2 and this, Diablo Immortal. So there has been some period of time in between Diablo 2 and this game. But that's basically all the big news that we have right now. As soon as we get more news, I'll be sure to bring it to you guys. I'm really excited about this game, and I hope that you guys are too. So if you hear anything else, let me know, and I'll be sure to spread the word. As always, take care, and I will see you guys later.